girls, Chokester here, bringing you another episode of FTB Direwolf20. We are up to episode 15. You know what episode 15 means? Yeah, I don't know either. I was hoping you would tell me. What does episode 15 mean? I guess that we're up to episode 15. So I have changed out the industrial hemp that we used for our windmills. Boy, those look really cool, don't they? That's really neat. I changed them out for potatoes, and I am starting to get potatoes because this is now all filled up. And I only had two to start with, and so I just kind of planted a couple of bone meal. Remember the bone meal we made? The actual edition bone meal? I got to use that, and it quickly populated this, and so now it's filling up because I want to do some stuff with this. But that's for another episode. In the meantime, I've been busy. I've kind of rearranged this. I've knocked this wall back a bit. I've cleaned this up. It's no longer a door here. It is wide open. I'm going to see how that goes. Maybe we'll have mobs walking into the base, but so far not really. This area here, I have moved the sag mill and alloy smelter and doubled them up for right now. I've also moved my crusher over here and all the capacitor banks that I had sitting right here. Eventually, I will move these guys. That's still a work in progress, and I got to figure out what to do with this because we need something behind a backstop essentially. So maybe I'll put it in the wall. We don't have to do many big things lately. The other thing is I pop this back in the wall and just kind of got that out. The other thing I've done is I've kind of rearranged this. I'll go over that in a minute. So that's pretty much all the changes except one other thing. I've added a drawer controller. And if we look at the drawer controller is not too bad, right? It requires this redstone, but you do have to have nether quartz, which means going to the nether before you can get this. So early game storage drawers are possible, but the drawer controller is usually the limiting factor. And of course a diamond. And so what that allows us to do is if we come in here and I say, oh, let's grab a block of redstone, let's grab a block of this and a block of this and an ingot of that, right? And I've got my inventory. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in here. I just want to dump it all away. I can just right click on this and hold down right click and it will populate. It dumps everything back in there, right? And fills it back up. It's very cool. Now, they all have to be touching though. And so these over here don't look like they're touching, but they are. There is, back here, I've just got these oak trims. Remember we made the oak trim for the table over here, right? That table to make these all pretty and fancy. I had extra oak trims. I did have to make a few extra, but what I did was I just ran it so that it's touching this behind here, and then ran it all the way over here in an arc and touching this, and that bridges the two together. And now they are one solid unit. Even though they don't look like they are behind the walls, they are. And so that's very cool. So now this is all one big thing. The other thing is that I've done some automation. And you can see I've got the power coming in over here and feeding these guys. And what I've done is I have set these guys to be in and out. So on in, I'm starting to populate the ores that I get and put them in here. And out, it's just a different channel. So let me go over that again. So it comes in on green. The whole base is going to be green, right, for the main channel. And then once it gets done crushing its stuff, then it sends it out the red channel. And of course, this over here is the insert on red channel. Now I haven't handled any exclusions or anything yet, but like sulfur, right? Sulfur is a prime example. It will not come out of here and go into the alloy smelter. But down here, I've got some other ones. I need to move into the advanced filter, right? This only supports 3, and it doesn't support all the different ore dictionary types. So if we look in here, so copper, it has, well, let's just do copper ore. There's 1, 2, 3, and I don't think poor copper ore, I believe this one gives me the nuggets. And this pack doesn't have crossroads. Yeah, so this guy I believe gives me nuggets, and then so ultimately there's 4 different copper types that I could come in here, but I've only got 2 in here. And so I need the advanced one so I can turn on ore dictionary support. So anyway, we'll work on that. That's one of the things. The only other thing I have is you'll notice that it's running all the way across here, and it goes all the way over here and feeds up, and we can kind of see right here that it feeds up into here, and so when it's done smelting, and it will then feed in here and populate all of these guys. So that's really cool. I do have a default chest here that if I cook up something, For instance, like if I cook up a, oh, not here, I want here, give me a cactus. Where is my cactus? Where are my cactus? Since cactus is plural. I'm not seeing it here. Am I blind? Did I take all of my cactus? Oh, I know where it is. Shh, I gotta get used to this. I gotta get used to it. All right, so let's say I cook up a cactus in here, and it creates me this cactus screen. Well, I don't have a drawer for it. It's a one-off. But I put this as a very low priority. And so if we come in here, I think I can get to this right here. Maybe? Yes, it's going to let me past. Nope. Here, I will use our Morpho tool that we used in the last episode. I should be able to get to it. Shift, left click, you remember? And I want to say, this is the north one. I just set a very low priority. So it will come out here on the green. I don't know if I've shown you that. So it'll come out on green, right? Which means then go out on the main network, and it comes over here, and it has insert, and it tries to insert in here. If it can't, then it goes out here because that's the lowest priority. So it's just kind of the last resort, the default route, if you will. Okay, so that's what we've been doing. I do have to move this stuff. I'm going to move all this outside, do some more expansion of this, but only so much time, only so much time. What are we working on down here? Well, you'll notice those item filters are gone. That works great in a one-off. I can dump it in the chest, and it all 4 things, well 5 things really, and it just dumps it in here. And that saves a little bit of time. But what I found is I'm making a whole bunch of these Empowered Palace crystal blocks, and that breaks what I had set up. So I just threw hoppers on here, which then have this in here, and it feeds in one at a time. What I was getting was, if I'd throw a stack of prismarine in the chest, every single one of them would fill up with prismarine. I don't want that. I need to have individual ones. So this is a way of doing multiple ones just by setting it up 4 or 5 times. So, depending on what you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop one of these guys in here, and you notice that it's all ready. And underneath here I have a conduit that sucks out and just drops it into this chest. And this is, the proverbial, right? Pull out and push in. So we're going to be making this guy here, and it does take a few seconds, so give me a moment. It's finished, and it just gets pulled out and it gets dumped into here. So I'm going to let this run and finish the rest of these. Why? Well, that's because we are finally, now that we have progressed a long way, is we have some lapis box, right? And I've used a lot of them for this Empowered Palace crystal because I want greenhouse glass. It is been described to me as late game stuff. Now, if you're watching my other series, my Infinite Choices, I actually did some experimentation, and it turns out that greenhouse is fairly powerful from a growth accelerator. We don't have reliquary in here, but reliquary has the lily pads that I didn't actually test, but I don't think those are powerful. But the green sigil of the green grove and other growth ticks, the ritual of the green grove, those are almost as good as this. And while they do require some infrastructure to set up, it's to me that's about what a growth accelerator should be. Now the roots one, which we don't have roots in this pack, roots and they're standing what are they called? Standing pillars. Those guys, the growth pillars, they are almost double the performance of this greenhouse class, and it's much, much cheaper. So I guess relatively they are OP. So yeah, so we're going to need a whole bunch of these saplings. Now I don't have a lot of saplings. That's another thing. I mean, I've got some here. We'll see if that's enough. And the only other thing is I'm going to need glass. Now I see this a lot. People are like, how do I get glass? I'm going to let me go harvest a let me go over and what do you call it? Just start digging in the desert, right? Well, you guys know that you can take cobble. Where's my cobble? There it is. Still learning where things are. You can take cobble and you can throw it in here. And I will, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure this to, you know what I need? I need a separate sag mill just for like this type of experimentation. Because this is already all pre-configured to send in and out. What I could do is I could just tell it not to send out for temporary. Let's do that. So yeah, I'll work towards that. It's always good to have a project one. So I'm going to say disabled here so that it doesn't actually go out. Okay, so you guys know that you can, yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. It is absolutely, Where's it going? In this chest? Oh, it's going down. Crazy. Well, okay, that's actually really good. And so it's actually going up here. I can't catch it. Okay, gotcha. So let me slow this roll. This is why I need a project chest, right? Okay, or I mean a project set of guys. Okay, so what you can do is you can take the cobblestone and it will turn it into gravel. And then you can do it again, gravel, and it turns it into sand. And also some flint. You put this flint back up in here, and it's awesome. We have a ton of cobble, and that's great stuff. So that's, you guys, if you need cobble, I mean, if you need sand, just do this. It's so trivial. Actually, that worked out really well. I don't actually have that set. Oh, I do. That's why. It looks like it's, oh, you know what? It might be set to, this guy might be set to pull. That's why. Yeah, that's what it was. But that actually worked out pretty well. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's how we get sand. That's how we get glass. Glass should be plenty over here. So now we have a ton of glass. So we'll grab a couple of stacks. Let's make sure nothing else goes in there. That's why we want to lock these guys. So if you don't know about this, let us lock our chest or a drawer. So we're going to lock this. And so what that does now is it locks it so that even if I take the last one out, like this, there's no more in there, it will still remember what is in there. So I'm going to get this out of the way, put that in there, and we'll just put a stack back in. So it doesn't allow you, there we go. It doesn't allow you to take out the last one. It remembers everything in there. So I pretty much want to lock all this. Now, I have noticed that this pack is very buggy. Well, I shouldn't say this pack is very buggy. The storage drawers in here are causing some weird issues. So you notice I can't lock these, right? I'm supposed to be able to right click on this and it locks everything, right? And it did those over there, but none of these. So that could be a visual thing. I'm not sure. Let's see, did it get them all? Yeah, it looks like all of those are locked, which is good. So it could be just visual. It could be that it's not locked. I don't know. The other thing is that I was moving. I had iron here and gold here, and I need one more row, so I just kind of kicked this out, and instead of a pillar here and so on. Well, I pulled all the iron out, put them in this drawer here, and it showed gold here and iron here. I thought that was odd, so I pulled all the gold out and put it back in here, and so now get this out of the way. If you notice, I have 99 blocks or 890 gold. In here, I only have 521 or 57 blocks because all of my iron had gone over into gold. So I took all my gold. I inadvertently converted it from iron to gold just because of a storage drawer bug. So beware of that, guys. It's in that case it worked out for my favor, but it's not necessarily making me feel good. All right, let's go check on these guys. Looks like these guys are done, and we should be ready to make our uber expensive, yes, that's my thought, uber expensive greenhouse glass. So we now should be able to make this. And how many can I make? So we have a 7x7 out there. 49 is ideal, right? So that's good for one. I think it's, oh no, you know what? I think it's 9 by 9. So that's 81 to do, which is what, 64 plus 81 is 20, 18, 16, 17. So, oops, 64 plus 17, I think that works out to be. And yeah, I don't even have enough to cover my plot out there. So I have to get more, looks like, saplings. Well, now I just ran out of all my saplings. I have 5 more of this. I have 10 of these. I don't know if these will work or not. So, yeah, it's, I'll just set up a tree farm and I'll be overflowing in no time. But, yeah, so anyway, so we have greenhouse glass for when actually, let's go ahead and put this up here, right? And so I don't really want to use glass. Let's not use glass. Give me another block. How much glass did I have left? Just 20. Okay. So it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Let's do some dirt. Let's do like 6. I just need a starter. I don't have an angel block yet, do I? No, I haven't made an angel block yet. That would have actually helped as well. So what I want to do is I want to say, let's make it up here. Like maybe, let's make it one more. And so Let's put that here, and I just need one to start with, and then we'll get rid of that, just so we can visualize this. Okay, and then, of course, we're going to use our fancy-dancy wand. So, I don't have to use this, obviously, to come over here, but what do we need? 3 more? Yes, 1 more. That's what I had guessed, and then of course, we're out. So, we are actually... Oh, you know what? Good, 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 good. So we will be okay. We will be okay. Yeah. So this row over here isn't planted. It's just that it was my worms that are off, and that's why it looks so goofy. So let's plant that, and I need 1 more row. Yes, yes. Oh, and I need 1 more this way. I see, because that could come out. All right, and then yeah. So I need a few more. I need a few more, but that should really kick it into overdrive. At least it should. So in my testing, I believe it was about 10 times the speed. So no, sorry, it was more than that. I think it was like roughly 100, and it was 6. Yeah, it was 6 to 8 times the speed. I'm not sure exactly what the growth tick is, but that should really help speed it up. I can finally grow that quickly and efficiently. I just want to get a bunch of these guys. We'll set up a smaller farm for just potatoes. Maybe we'll even do the Ender IO guy. So because I've got some fun things, and that I've got some fun things for automation, and that's because you notice, see down below the blue black box, I now have a mod called Apple Skin. Yes, it's called Apple Skin, and that allows us to see the saturation values. Right, so that's pretty cool. We've seen this in other mod packs, but yeah, I mean, there's when you start looking at all the different foods, and so if we look at beef, there's 2 there. Cooked is well, that's beef jerky actually, and that does 4, which is pretty cool, right? So then instead of beef, we go for steak, right? So that's probably the same. Here I can do steak or beef, and I can look at the 2. So yeah, so it looks like the beef jerky is actually a little bit better saturation over food bars. Yep. But what I was doing is I was looking at actually additions and looking at their food choices. And so I said, okay, well, this guy here is 3. It's actually in my infinite choices pack. It's a bit more. It's a bit more saturation. This one here, the spaghetti, in the infinite editions is like 8 meatsicles, and this way here it's only 3.5. So the FTB clearly toned it down, and that's fine, right? So there's other things like cheese. Oftentimes it's an ingredient in things. There's fish and chips, right? So there is one, I forgot which one it was, but there was one that was pretty good. Oh, the hamburger, the pizza I think is the most. But if you look at the recipe for pizza, it's cheese and fish and carrots and mushrooms and dough, and I figured mushrooms are the tough ones to get. Right, that's the one that's tough to harvest. So pizza might not be in our future. I did do spaghetti over my Infinite Choices series because it was such good saturation. But here, in this case, I want to do fish and chips. And fish and chips isn't too bad. It's fish, which we're getting a lot of now. It's French fries, which are potatoes, right? But we have to bake them. I have to bake them first. And then paper cones, which is paper, which we know how to get paper, right? That's from sugarcane or rice dough. So I could go one of 2 ways. I could either plant a crop of rice and do that, which we've been growing rice for quite some time, and we have a lot, but we want to make it automated, or we can automate the sugarcane. So that's what I plan on doing next episode is taking these guys and automating them, and then we'll do something cool. How much are we up to now? Let's see here. So we are up to 2 by 64. So, or if you want to count, we're at 191. So yeah, that's come on, replant. 197. Are you gonna replant? You can replant. Yes. It takes forever for that to make its way around, but it does. It does its job, and it does a good job. So anyway, that guy will just crank along, and we'll get this, and then we'll get the plenty of potatoes going. So need that for next episode because we're going to automate all the things. And we got to do something about this. So we're going to maybe relocate. And I also don't want this right above my main base here. Just because when I'm in the roof, in the ceiling, right, the very next step is that's my farmland right there. So I have no grace period, right? Or not grace period, but grace. I have no room for adding stuff up there. So yeah, I need to do something about that. All right, one last thing I want to show you is that right here, I am now using energy laser relays. Easier for you to say than me. Before I had this the low voltage wire going down through the block, and it was kind of cool. I just decided to do the laser relay instead because I needed to run it over. And the way I've run it is I've come over here, and you see it's over there. Let's go back in here. And then what I do is down here, I go down here. Let me actually just break down in here so you can see what's going on. So you see I bring it down through the capacitor so you can't see those ugly red wires or red lines. And then I come over here and let's see if I can get there. And there's another one way over there. It's hard for me to show you from here. Let's see if I can get out of here. This maze. And there's one right there. And then that one goes over here. And if you recall, we are feeding that down underneath here. Right? So that's where we're feeding it. So anyway, it's pretty cool. You can hide these guys. You can hide them behind in the walls, behind things, and that's pretty cool. You don't have to see those unsightly things. And in theory, I could go from underneath here and then cut over, and you wouldn't see it at all. But I kind of like seeing that right there. So yeah. Anyway, that's good stuff. Well, guys, I know we didn't accomplish a ton here, but we did make the greenhouse glass. I have been doing a lot of stuff off camera, so I wanted to take time to explain that. It has been a bit of a talky exercise, episode. So apologize for that, but hopefully you guys saw some cool stuff, and we'll come back and I'd like to get rid of this guy here, and I want it to be here. Now all I have to do, fix this real quick before we do our official sign off. Where is, I don't have one. I don't have it. Oh, let's go grab it. Grab it. I thought I had one of these. Where is it? Right there. Let's grab the one with the least amount of durability. All right. And all we have to do is hit this. And this one has quite a bit of visual bugs as well. There we go. It's off. And we will put our greenhouse glass. And there. Excellent. Now, and the last thing is, can I add this to here? Nope. I think we tried this last time. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Morpho tool does not accept the engineer's hammer. So, all right, guys. Well, we are going to sign off right here and say goodbye. I will bid you adieu. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very, very much for all the support you guys have given me. I am up over 200 subscribers, and I am ecstatic. Yay! Yay! Do I have any other emotes? Oh, no, I have no other emotes. How about, wait, any of these? Yay, there we go. There it is. All right. Guys, thank you so much. You've been great. Comments have been wonderful. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this series because I'm enjoying it, bringing it to you. I'm enjoying bringing it to you. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I got to run. I've got to run. I procrastinated this long enough. I will talk to you in the next one. See you later. Bye.